Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. I'm going to change that intro because this is the nighttime show where we're going to have a lot more fun, and we can actually have a longer, deeper, more interesting conversation tonight with Marcia Reece and Howard Kaufman. Thank you so much for both being here. I really appreciate both of you. And so one of the things that I have a question about is that you are both entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of things that are taking place in the entrepreneurial space in the last 18 months. You know, things are happening in the world, and we're all doing this thing called becoming resilient. So I want to talk about resiliency as an entrepreneur and some of the things that we have to do to accomplish our goals as we move forward in business. So Marcia, I want to talk to you because you have recently passed through some challenges that took you offline and required you to do some space. So for those that may not know you, share who you are, and then let's get into a little conversation around what it takes to come back.
Well, I'm a lifelong product creator. I love to find affordable, practical, effective solutions to everyday problems, and then design a product that fits that problem. And I've done that my whole life, and I really do love it. My first product that most people know about, I invented Sidewalk Chalk back in the late 70s. And I took that to all brick and mortar in the US. A whole different world. There weren't even computers yet. There weren't fax machines yet. There certainly wasn't e-commerce yet. We had our other problems to deal with, but nothing like the problems of today, because today, if you need to speak to someone at Amazon, for example, it's impossible to get to the people who can really make a change happen. So through all my decades of bringing consumer products to market, I think today we have the broadest opportunities because so many people shop online, but we also have big, big problems to overcome because we have to be able to communicate with our e-commerce platforms. Yeah. And we need human beings to talk with there because the bots can really mess up a company.
those dang bots. We got to get past the bots, folks.
Yes.
Get past the bots. So I just want to, Howard, I know that you come from a slightly different angle, but you have a product that you've developed from scratch. It's an amazing product that I love, and I use it every day. And you actually also started it from solving a problem or solving a vacancy in the market that really important. So your journey compared to Marcia's is a little different. And the same thing occurs, you know, it's how do you get seen? How do you get, you know, the authority built into there, and how do you get visibility? So what are the challenges that you're seeing in this process for you?
Sure, Russ. Again, thanks for
tell people who you are too.
Well, thanks for the invite, and it's a privilege to be on prime time with you. So thank you.
Yes.
And I just thought with the Hall of Famer and yourself, I was here just to be the note taker, but I guess if I'm going to participate.
No, you got to participate, Howard. If you're going to be on the camera, you're going to have to participate.
So my name's Howard Kaufman, and it's been a labor of love. I found myself becoming an entrepreneur, call it one in later chapters of one's career. Spent a number of years in corporate America, in e-commerce and retail, led a major e-commerce site that was in the top 50 in the US. On this journey, I've been along the way, I've kept a journal, and I've taken notes of learnings of things that I have found have worked. And then, of course, failures and things that haven't worked. And really where I'm at now is taking all of those learnings and in accumulation, developed a product line similar to Marcia's with StayWell, where ORL, we're focused on providing a better and more natural, free of harmful ingredient solution to your daily oral care. There's so many harmful ingredients that exist in today's oral care. So it's been a labor of love. We founded the company in April of 2019, brought product to market in the fall of 2019. We've all been challenged by the pandemic starting in March of 2020, and it's just been a roller coaster. So your theme about resiliency is a great one. And the one other thing I want to add to your point, Marcia, I think part of the challenge as an entrepreneur too, it's not only dealing with the bots and the automation of the web platforms, it's even with some of your key business partners. And one of the challenges, as much as this technology, Zoom, Google Hangouts, all of it allows us to collaborate and be a lot more efficient and not have to travel as often and things like that. However, there's kind of a silver lining with that, is that you're missing out on also the in-person, or I just saw a post from Adam Brown online, IRL, in real life. And you are missing some of those key relationships. Not that you have to meet in person all the time, but connecting more on a human level. And what I'm finding a little bit challenging is even with some of our key business partners, even though I have phone numbers, but if I really need to talk to someone, most of it's still by email. And I just think that sometimes that does become inefficient and you kind of lose some of that in the translation. So it's a fine balance.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed over time is with every innovation that we, move into, whether it be Amazon or e-commerce or, online email, and even it's also another distraction and another thing that we have to add and stack on top of our daily lives. So our attention span and our ability to actually respond and react to things in day-to-day activities is really becoming a strain in everyday life, in business and in our personal lives. I've been in enterprise and IT and different capacities in business where you're carrying a lot of activities that you have to deal with on a regular basis in order to achieve your results. And I think that that's part of the challenge we have right now in business is a lot of people, they don't have time to take the calls and relax and say, let's go have coffee, or, let's go off to lunch. And it's really refreshing when that does take place. So I guess, Marcia, you're a relationship individual. You're somebody that's built relationships over time. You know how to build a relationship and foster that and nurture that. So what are some things that you've done in your world to navigate around the idea that, hey, we're all busy, we got a lot of distractions, and yet we still need to take a moment and say thank you?
Well, you just nailed it with your last two words. In this time when everything is remote, and Howard had a great point. We do need human contact to build and foster and deepen business relationships. I just went to my first trade show in Las Vegas 2 months ago. It was an e-commerce trade show. I hadn't been to a trade show in a couple of years. People that I've met online during these last 2 years, I talked to them, I email them, I talked to them on the phone, but when I met them in person, the relationships went to a whole different level. It gave us almost an authenticity that the remoteness we miss out on. But to your point, I still use snail mail. I am kind of known for sending handwritten thank you notes, and sometimes they're kind of clever, and I try to think of kind of some silly off-the-cuff things. And that gets me noticed because, and I know Howard and I have had this conversation about sending things to our buyers. They get tired of all the emails as well. Yeah. But I still think, at least if you get something in the mail, you stop and you look at it. Now, remember 20 years ago when we were flooded with junk mail and we threw it all away and we were thrilled to get an email? It's like it's all switched. Now we get thousands of emails and you get a real thing in the mail and it stops you and you look at it, and it takes that little moment of thoughtfulness that you put into it and it hyperextends it way past what the effort really was. So I do think sending handwritten thank you notes or little surprises in the mail. I sent some garden seeds to some of my special people and said, let's grow a new relationship. We make antimicrobial copper that kills germs with no chemicals and all natural. So it was a silly little thing to send. But who else sends a package of garden seeds to somebody? It has nothing to do with StayWell Copper, but it was a way for me to say, I want to grow deeper with you.
Yes. And I love and appreciate that because, and I think it boils down to use what you have to be different and unique in your capacity to reach out and build relationships, create relationships.
Yeah.
Hey. And it's really, like you said, thank you travels a long way in business these days. In fact, I want to say thank you to some of the people that are showing up here because we've got some amazing individuals here, and we all know Jenny Gold is here, Alex Chambers in from Colorado. I heard that it's starting to snow in Colorado. Yeah. So Gabe is in the room. Thank you so much. And Jenny says, good evening, Russ Johns, Marcia, and Howard Kaufman. Thank you so much. And Angie in from Wisconsin. So thank you so much for being here, Angie. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. And Elise is in the house. Elise from she broke her shoulder and she's feeling better. So hopefully you'll get there. And then also I saw somebody else jump in. Jordan's in the room. Evening, Russ. Thank you so much for being here. And Marcia, Tony's in the house. Tony, thank you so much for being here. Really,
Tony's all the way from Canada.
Yeah, he's in from Toronto. I like that. Angie says we all need the human touch. Yes. Rick Springfield. So Howard, in your business adventures between being in a corporate environment and we grew up in similar backgrounds is in the enterprise place and moving into starting a product and moving out, how has the transition been for you as far as outreach, getting attention, gaining attention, getting follow-up, and some of the things that you have to deal with on a regular basis?
Learning definitely every day, and just building upon what Marcia was just bringing up. And Russ, something that you've educated us on, and you do a great job, is also using video, especially like in email messages, text messages, as a way to cut through the clutter. So starting to adopt that, signed up with Dub and all that. So I think that's another tool in the toolbox. Mm-hmm. And then the other tip that I want to share, and I've used it because I do pro bono, have helped people throughout the years with their resumes. And sometimes, again, when you're challenged more and more, if you're looking for employment and you're basically up against the bots, right? How do you come up with keywords and things to break through the clutter? It's not batting 1,000, but there's examples where I've advised people, if they're frustrated that they're not getting through or getting a response from a company that they've really targeted, and they have their heart set on at least having that initial interview conversation, my advice is spend the $10, $12, find out exactly who the hiring person is or the head of HR, send your information FedEx. Just send it something physical, because again, to Marcia's point, it's breaking through the clutter. It'll get the attention. Now, they still may elect to not respond to you, but most likely than not, you'll know
that they received
someone's going to respond. And now in business, as we've been approaching different retail chains and things like that, I've also adopted that strategy in a sales situation. When I'm not getting a response, I'm putting together a FedEx package. I'm putting some products in. I'm sending it. And I would say 8 out of 10 times, I'm getting a response back. And that's all you can ask for. Again, it's, you can't expect to have that first date and the wedding ceremony at the same time. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to establish that dialogue, and to the earlier point about that in person or that one-on-one, being able to create a sense or start building a sense of trust.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
Well, and for those of you who haven't seen Howard's product in person, it is stunningly sleek and sophisticated and all earth friendly. And I have seen the packet that Howard sends to buyers. It's really beautiful. And Howard, well done. Any buyer that gets that on their desk has to take a second look, because our companies are the very same age. We started them the same months. And his product looks it looks like it's coming from a 10 or 12-year-old company. It looks far more sophisticated than the age of your company. So really, really well done.
Well, thank you. It's been a labor of love. And again, give a lot of credit to my business partner, Brian Hinterlong, who's a designer, comes out of the wine industry, spent a lot of time working, for example, on the Martha Stewart brands. And it was really his inspiration that created the brand, the packaging, the website, and all of our collateral material. So as small as we are, we're fortunate to have that type of asset in-house.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, though, we are introducing a line extension too. Exclusive to the Pirate Nation. Yeah.
Oh, does it darken some teeth so they have black marks?
I love you. I love you. Thank you so much.
It adds to the scurvy, so you start losing your teeth.
Yeah.
See, now there is a great example to all of you watching. Remember how I said just take your normal thing and tweak it a little bit. Look how that putting Russ's logo on that toothpaste instantly got all of our attention. And I don't want to steal the thunder, but we do a lot of engraving on patches for that same reason. We put logos on them. I think both of you gentlemen have your logos on. And that again, it just stops. It stops when you send a buyer a phone patch with their logo on it.
Yeah.
I've got one here somewhere.
I think I got one right here.
Yeah, here's one that we did for the King Supers. Whoops, I guess I have to turn it so you can see it.
There's
there's Russ's. Yeah. Those buyers always comment because you don't get something customized every day. So well done, Howard. That was a nice surprise. And see, that's that little bit of thoughtfulness that Howard put into knowing he was going to be on your show tonight. So he took the time. It probably didn't take you more than a half an hour, but he did it. And that's what a lot of people are missing out on, is that little creative extra touch.
Yeah. And that brings us into another point that I think is equally important, because the common denominator that we all carry with us every single day is time. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, there are times where I struggle with that, because this time management, I don't know. Some days it's like I can get an F in class because I had no idea what I need to do next. It's like, okay, what's the highest priority? They're all priorities. No, I need to pick one and just stick to it. So how do we manage our time? How do we manage our efforts and energy? Because there's two parts of that. One is the energy we have, and the other is how much can we really do with the time we have. And I just kind of want to brainstorm on this and kind of bring it to the table and see what we can talk about. Howard, I know you're very methodical, and I'm waiting for that book to come out with the, all the tips and hacks you've discovered along your journey. However, it has to be something in there that allows you to manage expectations on yourself, your team, and the people around you, and know that life, takes a speed bump now and then. So how do you go through that process and talk about that?
It does. And it's always a challenge. And it reminds me of that famous quote, good is the enemy of great or perfect, right? So, and I think as entrepreneurs, you want everything to be perfect. But at some point, you've got to have a certain sense of confidence that what you've got going may not be perfect, but it's good enough to move forward, good enough to get into the marketplace. I think a great example is what is advised on creating social media content and videos, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just come in and start going with it. and ultimately it builds its own momentum. But
Yeah.
the whole trick on managing time, it is challenging. And I do find as a business grows, as you go from point A to point B and beyond, you get stretched more for sure. And there's also another saying that creativity is never on time. So that's part of it too, is your inspiration as a business leader. You, at least how I've learned, you're essentially responsible for three main things, right? Strategy, leadership, and execution. But with all three of those, creativity is an important element to it. However, it's not like you can say, or most people, I should say, or I should say, I know in my case, I can't say, well, I'm going to plan from 9:30 to 10:30 to be creative. Maybe I will be, or maybe I won't, but it may be involved in some other type of situation. It could be in the shower. It could be running. It could be just a informal conversation. It could be grabbing a cup of coffee where the light bulb goes off. So that becomes a challenge when you put that back into how you manage your time. So there's a lot of ebb and flow. And I think you just can't be, at least I'm coaching myself not to be perfect, but just to be at least mindful of it.
Yeah. I love that. Marcia, what are your standard practices that you have in place for yourself? Because you create a lot of you create a lot of activity with your efforts.
I'm a mess maker. I make a lot of good messes. Well, actually, this is interesting because Howard and I had this conversation about 10 days ago about how do you organize your time when there's so much being thrown at you. And I'm kind of old school. I tell some of my young colleagues that I'm the dinosaur of the techno age because, when I first started selling Walmart, they had 66 stores and there was no fax machines, no computers. And some of the habits that I formed back then, I still use today. Now, I am trying to bring those up into this century. I'm using mid-last century stuff, but I still organize kind of the way the old Franklin planners were. And every day I would write down, I have a list and I hit here on my desk. And everything's A, B, or C. And if it's a C item, it probably is going to stay on there for a while. And I now use Google spreadsheets. And the C's keep falling to the bottom. And then if I have a day where I just don't want to do an A or a B, because I don't want to be that intense and I really want to relax and flow and be creative, I'll go into my C list because those are usually the fun things that aren't urgent and just have fun, because we can't lose sight of the fact that Howard and I are so passionate about helping people live safer, chemical-free, healthier lives. But we also have to remember that while we're so intent on this, we have to have fun in life. So I don't think we can only be stuck on the A and B items, because they do get to be a little laborious at times. But I do still keep my tasks sorted by must-dos, have-to-dos, must-dos, and those are kind of the same, and then my wanna-dos. And just last week, we finally were live on CVS.com. And I had a college girlfriend of mine from Kansas City go on to CVS and order one of our medium foam patches. And she went on, this is what our medium foam patch looks like. It goes on the germiest thing we touch all day. She ordered it. She got the confirmation back from CVS. So everything was working 2 days. And I did not get a confirmation from CVS. Their order processing platform is Commerce Hub. I didn't get a confirmation that there was that order there. And another day went by and I didn't get the confirmation. The third day, Mary got an email from CVS saying they were canceling the order. And on the order that they canceled, it had our product description, our product price, and it had a picture of Boost energy drink. Well, we don't sell Boost energy drink. So suddenly that became a big must-have. So I had to get to the bottom of that wormhole, and she ordered the same thing. We thought we had it figured out with the CVS IT folks. and I'm the dinosaur. So I'm trying hard to stay in touch with what they're telling me to check on. She ordered the second time. The same thing happened, although it wasn't Boost Energy drink the second time. So then she ordered our Hope necklace, which is the roller that you can keep the germs off your hands. That processed perfectly. So we knew at least part of it processed. And then finally, yesterday, I got the confirmation that their IT department had figured it out. So they told me to wait 24 hours and try the order again. So the best laid plans of mice and men can go astray. We thought we had it all set up. And apparently we did for 2 of the 3 SKUs that are on there. But so you can't ever be so rigid that when an emergency comes up, you have to hop on it. Howard and I both have small companies. There's not a whole lot of people I can yell at to help me figure it out. So, so it is just prioritizing the chaos and then getting it done.
Yeah. I have to amplify that a little bit because, I've been in tech a long time and there's so many things that can go wrong. And oftentimes, it happens. There's a lot of people working very hard to keep everything running. There's a lot of systems that are in place that are designed to work well and efficiently. And always, inevitably, there's something that has to fall short. And, things happen, life happens. And that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur and being resilient with what happens. Because we have to realize that we can only control what we can control. You can't control CVS, you can't control Amazon, you can't control any other outside influences. However, you can continue to pursue the outcomes you're looking to accomplish. And so tenacity, being willing to pick up the phone or send a FedEx mail out or a personalized mail or, get in the car and drive over someplace. All of these things are tools that we can use in our toolbox. And I think that's what a lot of people don't do if they're not entrepreneurs. Or, it's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to do that. I'm not responsible for that. And as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, we all have to be responsible for a lot of different things. So Howard, how do you navigate your priorities? Is there a unique process that you use? Marcia uses the one ABC, and so how do you navigate through that process?
I'm trying to just be very concise on this, but part of it is, overall you've got your business objectives and goals, but on a day-to-day basis, it's really just making sure the week's planned out and then really focusing on what's most critical on a given day and then what's urgent and similar to what Marcia was saying, and then what's nice to have. But there's always the unplanned, right? The unplanned email, the unplanned phone call. It may be a crisis or it may be, a great opportunity comes up that you weren't really planning. So you've got to just be mindful of that and keep juggling. And then at the end of each day, I do my best to kind of set my mind and list out, okay, for the next day, what are the key things that have to get done? And then if I had to say, what are the 1 or 2 things I must make sure does get done by the end of the next day, I at least go there. I'd be misleading to say, though, oh, yeah, it's a perfect science and I'm consistent, but at least I'm trying to, again, keep that frame and that filter. And the best word I can describe to you both is that mindfulness about it. At least acknowledge that there's, call it risk with what you're doing, where you're spending your time. But there are times where you've got to, it's like you can't do it halfway. If you come across a customer interaction and the customer has a question or the customer wants to know a little bit more in depth, yeah, you can say, I'm sorry, I've got to go. Let me get back to you. But to me, when you're small, and we've talked about this before, one advantage we have is we can win on that customer experience versus a bigger brand.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile spending the extra time, extending that conversation just to make that a more solid interaction with that customer or that potential customer. But when you do that, it may be at the outcome that you've now jeopardized or forfeited something else that you were planning to do with that time.
Yeah. And it's, every day is unique. We're going to have things during the course of the day that come up, and it could be friends, family, life, whatever it happens to be. And so we just have to understand it, notice it, relax, breathe. Everything's going to work out.
For sure.
Yeah. Just like Gabe says, that's eerie. The same thing happened to me, except they replaced my Boost Energy drink with an ORL product.
Thanks, Gabe.
Love you, Gabe. And also Kenyatta says, yes, I'm loving their products and services. Check them out. StayWell Copper, ORL, Cares, and the Pirate Syndicate. I dare you.
Good job.
Thank you, Kenyatta. I love you. The thing amazes me is a lot of, even people close to us sometimes fail to understand or appreciate how our minds work and why we do the things we do. And I'm an entrepreneur. I've been, I started as a musician. I've always had a side business of some kind. I've, done things, and I woke up the other morning and I was thinking, why do my shoulders hurt? Well, it's probably the hundreds of tons of hay that I've hauled over the years when I owned horses. And I'm thinking, all of these little elements and all of these little experiences lead us to believe and understand what we need to do on a regular basis to grow a business, to make things matter and to move forward with it. So what gets you up in the morning to energizes you and what you're doing, Howard? Because I know you love your product. I love your product. We all love your product. But what gets you energized and excited and full of vigor, and when you get up in the morning to go forward and do this over and over again?
Yeah, a lot of things. I mean, certainly knowing that you're involved with something, as Marcia indicated before, free of harmful ingredients, and giving people choice. And what really energizes me is that knowing we have a brand right now with very little and low brand recognition, and there's so many opportunities to at least build that awareness and expose. And I just get jazzed up knowing that, hey, by the end of the day, there's going to be a little bit more awareness about ORL and what we stand for and what we can offer than there was at the beginning of the day.
Yeah. And it's almost as if it's a mission. For me, it's a mission. I love video, and I teach video, and I help people learn about video. And in fact, I have another workshop tomorrow.
And you do a great job with that, by the way, Russ.
Thank you. And I am an affiliate partner with Dub, and I do appreciate that product, but it's not exclusive to that product, because there's a lot of strategy behind it. And like Marcia said, these little videos that I put out, that's part of who I am. I used to do that when texting first arrived. I used to text people on a regular basis just to say hi. And what it does is it just keeps you top of mind and lets you know that, hey, somebody's thinking about me. And I think that's important, is whether it's letters or phone calls or, little things that surprise us in some unique way. But I think that's important for us to understand that we're all human. Mm-hmm. We all have something to offer, and we have value, and we have a message. And I teach that, and it's not just about video, but it's about an idea and a philosophy that, kindness is cool and smiles are free. And, we can create anyone we want all day long. And so the downside, though, is not everybody understands that. And so the challenge I've had in my years is that it's like, why wouldn't you just go get a job? It'd be a lot easier. So, Marcia, have you ever had that occasion in your life where people don't understand why you work the way you do?
I have had, and I think I have a friend right now who thinks I'm nuts to work this hard when I don't have to, and when most people my age are retired. But my children, who I love dearly, know that if I die with a product plan in my hands, I died happy. I hope my health and my mind hold together so I can do this till my last day on earth. And I don't do it for some of the reasons people might think. There is a pride of ownership that's hard to describe if you haven't experienced it. And many years ago, I was in a Toys R Us store in Boulder, Colorado, and I was walking the aisles in my category looking for competitive product and packaging and pricing and all the different things that I would look at when I would tour a store. And I heard a little voice say, "Mommy, Mommy, if you buy me this, it's all I want all day." And I thought, what does that kid have? And I walked over 2 aisles and she was holding our bucket of Sidewalk Chalk. That is why you do this. And I didn't say a word. I just sat there and soaked it in and went, thank you. That this little girl's in a Toys R Us store. She could have had anything in the whole world. And she picked our product. Yeah. To know that, and all these generations later, I hear kids tell me, and I just got a note in the mail from someone who said, "You don't know all the joy you've brought me and my kids playing with Sidewalk Chalk." And then those of you who don't know, I know Howard and Russ both do, we were delisted from Amazon for 11 painful, debilitating months because of a pesticide claim, which the EPA had cleared us to make the claim, but Amazon didn't get it. And there were some very dark days when I seriously did think about just shutting the doors. But there's little moments that keep those doors open. A friend of mine from Minneapolis that is a dear, trusted friend called me and said, I was in a meeting with the number 3 person at Amazon. She has an entirely different industry. And she said they were in a face-to-face meeting and this lady took her phone out of her bag and it had our phone patch on the back of it. And Lori said, oh my gosh. And she pulled out her phone and said, my friend created that. And the Amazon lady didn't know me from Adam. And she said, oh, I bought these for all my family. This is just a smart way to stay germ-free because I'm on my phone all the time. That made all those 11 months at Amazon not easier to tolerate, but at least it was so funny. It was a person from Amazon and it was a high-ranking person from Amazon who had bought our product. Yeah. I didn't send her a free sample. So it is those moments when you hear a total stranger compliment your product. That's what drives a lot of us. And I don't know what else can scratch an itch quite like that, to know that you change just a little bit, you change the dial on somebody's life. If I can keep one of you from getting a cold this winter, that's great news for me. My husband and I have not had colds for 5 months, or 5 years. I'm sorry, 5 years, because we use our copper every day. And those are the reasons I do it. And I know Howard is driven by much of this same passion. You can't work as hard as we do and take the big financial risks that we take and pass up the big corporate salaries, because we are so driven by our mission to give the world a better option than what's currently available. So I think for me, that little girl in Toys R Us and that lady in that meeting at Amazon, those are why I do this.
And that's, and to extend that, that's some of the reason that I do what I do is helping business owners that, especially I have a heart for startups. I've been doing this for decades, and startups are really, it's the fabric of who we are. It's the fabric of, the U.S. in a lot of respects. And it's not just U.S., but globally, there's a lot of startups and that entrepreneurial spirit that says, hey, I can take something, I can create something from nothing, and I can generate a business and I can support other people with it. And I can go out and grow and do some good in the world. And to me, that's just a wonderful opportunity to actually go out and be different and fit into a different mold. And I just hats off to both of you for creating amazing products. And I consider you both friends. And I just wanted to make sure that I have a moment to highlight both of you, because that's what I like to do. And I do it for as many people as I can. But I want to talk about a little bit about, the challenges. I want to make sure that we're not completely unicorns and rainbows, but we want to make sure that we're, I got the rose-colored glasses on all the time, typically, because that's just who I am. However, you have to have a little bit of understanding that, sometimes they're, like you said, Marcia, things get tough. And so have you ran into those times, Howard, when you were thinking it's like, I'm just gonna go get a job and leave all this stuff behind. It's like, have you been there, done that?
Well, again, it's a roller coaster, right? And you are going to have ups and downs, no doubt about it. You just got to, in a way, in what I will admit, this experience of being an entrepreneur compared to like in a corporate environment, you have peers to talk to, you've got HR partners, you've got all these resources. I mean, there is like you're overly spoiled.
Yeah.
What I've been learning is also, certainly I've got close friends and mentors and people like that I can really trust, but it's also focusing now more on self-coaching, right? It's that reminding oneself that business is never a straight line, right? So, people talk about, hey, profits going like that and margins going like that in terms of how they improve and stock prices going like that. But it truly is. It's like a river. There's going to be ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And as long as overall you're on the right slope, that's really what you're trying to achieve. So you just got to remind yourself that not every day is going to be perfect. And there are going to be moments where trend lines, maybe something you don't like. I've had it, more recently where I'm getting, we're growing on our websites, which is great. But then like a day goes by and it's like, it's all quiet. It's like, what's happened? And then it's human nature to like start panicking and thinking, okay, something wrong or did something happen? But then suddenly 2 days later, boom, it's like you've got more demand than you were expecting. So it's just, some of it's unpredictable, but you just got to stay focused. And at the same time too, it is a very competitive marketplace.
Yes.
It's dynamic, and the competition isn't just ORL with other oral care products, but it's really competition for our attention, right?
Yeah.
So how do we cut through clutter? How do we be relevant? And how do we at least gain at least someone willing to give us a try? Because if they won't even give you a try, then you know what? You could be wasting a lot of money because you're going nowhere and you're not going to get the end result or the outcome that you're looking for.
We experienced that last year on Facebook. We were doing a lot of Facebook promotion, and the haters were amazing. And I had a scientific, kind, short answer for every criticism that came up. I didn't want to engage in anger because you're not going to out mad somebody when they're mad. But finally, I had a mentor say, just stop. If you've answered them once with the proof and the logical, kind answer, let it go. You're not going to change their mind. And I think that has changed a lot in my 40 years. Back in the day, my buyers would discuss things with me personally. It wasn't, and now my buyers are global people, and they go on social media and write, I'm going to just say illogical statements that can really do a lot of damage to somebody. And I don't know why people get a satisfaction out of being nasty. I don't understand that, because I think kindness is cool, and I think kindness sets the world apart. But that has been something that we've had to deal with, because there's a lot of doubters that say, hey, how, because our position is use our StayWell Copper rather than hand sanitizers, because we're not big on rubbing chemicals into your skin. Whatever you put on your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream. Right. And a lot of those hand sanitizer chemicals are very dangerous. So our position is, of course, that our product is a safe, chemical-free alternative. But the haters are very loud-spoken. And so we just try to diffuse it with kindness. But I also think learning right now, we're at a very unusual time. And I'm sure Howard will comment on this as well. We are right now getting ready to do a blast to our world about, we have zero supply chain issues. Our entire product line, our packaging, everything is made in the US. So we can ship product in 24 hours, and we do. And I listen to the news a lot about these supply chain issues. And now the news is about how kids aren't going to have presents for Christmas, and Christmas is going to be late because these ships can't get unloaded and there's not enough semi-drivers and there's not enough dock workers. Not so for StayWell Copper, and probably not so for ORL, because we're USA products. And the funny thing is, all those years ago, I first called on Walmart because my 3-year-old son said, Mom, they should buy our product. We're the only sidewalk chalk made in America. And that was back, Sam Walton was all about made in America. And now look, all these years later, how made in America is really making a difference for StayWell. And Howard, have you seen that as well?
Yeah, again, strategically, just from a supply chain point of view, domestic, definitely there's a lot of advantages. So, and right now, as you indicated, I know the ports, and I guess they're now working 24/7 to try to get through the backlog, but it's there. I was in Southern California a couple of weeks ago, and you can just see ships out there.
Wow.
So they can't get into Long Beach port.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Sherry Lawley, she amplifies the idea that we just keep moving no matter the terrain. And that's
Great
really
point.
what it's about is, don't get too excited about the highs and don't get too depressed about the lows, and just, kind of stay in the middle and let things bounce off us. And really it's the integrity of our product outlasts, and the legacy of our product will outlast, the efforts that we put in today. And I think that's really kind of an amazing thing to think about, and I think back on, all the content I've created over the years, and how, unless they shut the internet down, the future generations will be able to hold on to it and consume it and check it out. And I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg on some of the things we're doing right now. And I think the foundation of what you two are talking about with, courtesy, outreach, conversations, relationship building, all of these things are still relevant no matter what. A year from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, I think it will still be relevant. And so I just really appreciate that fact and that's what I want to amplify every time we turn around. So before we wrap up, I want to make sure that people understand, Howard, who is your primary audience, and how can people get a hold and receive product and order product and get some of the things that you have that are available and out there ready to be serving the public?
Well, thanks, Ross. I mean, we definitely offer our product omni-channel, so online. We're also in selected natural food grocers in certain parts of the country, dentists' offices, spas, boutiques, apothecaries. We also have a CBD line. But our 2 websites, ORL, CARES, Oral Cares. Again, the one thing we learned in our branding, ORL sounds great, but then realizing that the City of Orlando and the Bureau of Tourism of Orlando has most of those URLs. So our URL is really a play off of Oral Care, but ORL Cares, CARES. And then as we've been involved in Facebook marketing, we moved all of our CBD product, because we have a CBD product line, to a sister website, orlcbd.com. And in both cases, knowing that the pirate syndicate and the pirate family's been very helpful to us and everything, we have set up a special discount code, essentially selling our product at basically cost, and shipping's only $4.95. So if you go to Oral Cares, orlcares.com or orlcbd.com, and the code is simply pirate70, either site, 70% discount for people watching this right now. Again, my goal is to spread the opportunity for people to at least try the product. And I'd love to get the feedback back. Even if there's something you don't like about it, that's so important to us, because we've been responding to feedback and learning. And, we've made a couple tweaks here and there, but I really want to extend that. So thank you for asking about that, Ross. And
I can't wait for the book to come out either. Howard.
There you go. Thank you. So Pirate 70.
Howard, is there a book in the works?
Well, he mentioned he takes notes on all his trials and tribulations.
At some point, yeah.
At some
I
point.
want to read it too. I can't wait.
And Marcia, how do people get a hold of you? Because I know that we've shared so many things on Amazon and here on the Pirate Broadcast, and we'll continue to share information about StayWell Copper.
Our product is available on Amazon. It is available on our website, which is StayWellCopper.com, and it's available on Lowe's.com and CVS.com. And I would like to invite any of your viewers, if they go to CVS.com or Lowe's.com and buy our product, those orders can be pulled and flagged for my attention. And if you will order from those two portals, I will double your order at no cost. So you buy one, you get one free. So if you buy from CVS or Lowe's, I'll be happy to send you two for the price of one.
Oh, fantastic.
And this is a great time because both our products make great stocking stuffers, and we're right in the middle of cold and flu season. It just started in October. So I guess we're at the beginning of cold and flu season. So now is the time to buy one for yourself and give the free one to someone you want to stay cold and COVID and flu free.
I think that they would make great stocking stuffers too.
I do too.
And ORL has a great concentrate mouthwash that is fantastic, and I just really love the flavor and the taste of the products. So cinnamon is my favorite. So.
Russ, have you used their breath spray? That little
yes, I have. Yes, I have.
love that. And is that the coolest packaging?
That is the coolest packaging. I love the. You just twist it open and spray it. It's fantastic.
Oh, I've got one. Yeah. I've got one in my purse. I can show you guys. I love this stuff.
All right, I'll let you do it.
Okay, look at this. This is so, it is so cool. It's so sleek. All you do is twist this and, oh, it didn't help my singing voice, but it is, I love this. It's such a neat package. So
it is a very cool package.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Well, it's so generous and surprising. Thank you so much for the generous offers and support in the community. And Pirates, the reality is that we're all here flying through the same space together on the same rock. And I just really want to make sure that we're doing everything together to support each other. And if you go out, support Howard, support Marcia, and the rest of the Pirates. We got Kenneth says, savor the flavor of awesomeness and you peeps sharing the delectable thoughts with us tonight.
Thank you.
It's always, we have a great community here, and it's always nice to be able to expand and share that opportunity with us.
Russ, I love the comment Jenny just put on. Tell them about the breath spray. Mask breath is real. So that's another good plug for Howard's breath spray.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate the fact that you arrived. You'll make my day so much easier to go through. Today was challenging for me only because there's a lot of different things taking place, and just juggling some of the details around that. We talked about it. We mentioned that resiliency is key, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that my focus in my foundation is around video. I got some videos coming out for Howard here shortly. Get those done and completed, delivered. But we all have an opportunity to make something matter and make something special in the world today. And I want these ideas to be shared and delivered to people that need to hear them. And I just think that it would be really great if we could all get together and support each other in this journey and make sure that you have an opportunity to learn something new, meet someone new, and actually achieve your results as you move forward. So thank you both for being here.
You're welcome, Russ. Thank you for inviting us. And I do think sharing my time with you two gentlemen have been a real gift to me. I met Russ through Arizona Founders, thanks to Howard. And the times that we get to spend together and just strategize and think and dream and share strategies is so valuable, because as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, I don't have a whole team of people that I can meet with every Monday morning. So you guys are very, very important in my life. And I want to thank you both for all the kindness and goodwill and help you've given StayWell. Your friendship means everything.
I appreciate
Likewise.
it.
Really
I
appreciate
couldn't
that.
articulate it better. So I
Yeah.
deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
So Howard, somebody's asking for the link. So it's orlcares.com/70.
No, just put orls.com and they'll need the coupon code Pirate70. Pirate70. And it's also valid at orlcbd.com. So either website, Pirate70 works at both. And we've been known to throw some extra things in too. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I love it.
Yes, and if we get any orders on StayWell Copper, I'll throw.
Yes.
You'll get some extra goodies. Howard and I are big
We'll take
on.
care of you.
Yep.
Is that correct, Howard? ORL Cares. ORL Cares.
Yeah, the code Pirate70. It's not a direct link. I think you'll just have to go to the website. I mean, real quickly, I can tell you the shareable link. Yeah, the shareable link would be orlcares.com/discount/pirate70.
Okay.
And then it'd be the same thing. It'd be orlcbd.com/discount/pirate70.
We're doing this live, folks, so never mind me. It's like I can't type or spell, so we're okay.
Or you can just go to the website, and in the shopping cart, there's a place to put in the code. You can just type it in, Pirate70.
That's even better.
And if any problem at all, just DM me, send me a note on LinkedIn, and I'll personally take care of it.
And it's a great reason to connect with both of these individuals, these wonderful individuals. So just my thoughts. It's like, okay. Well, thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up here for another show. Tomorrow morning, we have another 7 a.m. Pirate broadcast. I just want to remind everybody that we're here. If mornings are your thing, join us in the morning. If evening is the thing, join us in the evening. Every Wednesday, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the mornings. And also, I'm doing ongoing workshops and video, and I'm now back in the course creation mode. So I'm creating courses to help more business owners with their strategy, their video, and making sure that they can be seen, be heard, and build some authority in their business. So join us every week. Join us online. Connect with us on almost any social platform. And so, any last parting words, Marcia?
Who's your guest tomorrow?
You'd probably have to ask me that. Let me take a look. I think it's Sherry Hewitt, but I'm drawing a blank here. So let me look. I'll tell you. Please hold while I look up your record.
And parting words while he's checking that is, if I can help any of you with product ideation or bringing a product to market, you can reach me through LinkedIn as well. I'm happy. I've done this a lot of years. I'm happy to share whatever knowledge I have with any of you. And thank you very much for supporting StayWell Copper.
I think I'm solo because I think the guest fell ill. So.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Okay.
But you can always jump on, join me again. We're flexible, we're resilient, right? Remember that.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, Howard, Marcia, love you both. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Everyone have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about,